This episode of Operations Unfiltered is brought to you by Clear Minds Consulting and Counseling. When life feels like a project with way too many moving parts, your mental health shouldn't be the thing that falls through the cracks. At Clear Minds Consulting and Counseling, Raven Anderson helps you to reset. Whether it's talking through financial stress or just helping you to recenter, you deserve the support that helps you rebuild. And as a project manager, I like to make sure you have the right people, processes, and tools to help you succeed. And Clear Minds Consulting and Counseling is just that, but for your mind. Because when your thoughts are clear, your next steps and your action items can be clear too. So visit Psychology Today and search Raven Anderson in Baltimore, Maryland. Welcome to Operations Unfiltered, the podcast that takes you behind the scenes of influencer and talent management. I'm your host and your favorite marketing project manager girly, Zarina. I love when two worlds collide, and today's episode is just that. We're talking all things beauty meets marketing. I'm joined by Mariah Phillips, a PR professional turned founder of Brainiac Beauty Events. I actually met Mariah a few years ago at Baltimore Creators Accelerator network event, which makes this full circle moment even sweeter. We talked about everything from career pivots, the beauty of having a community, and how her corporate background helped her build a creative, structured, and thriving business. Mariah shares how she took her love of artistry and turned into sippin' pretty makeup tutorial parties, which are fun, beginner-friendly experiences that blend beauty, confidence, and connection. We also chatted about some of the challenges of entrepreneurship, like delegating, navigating through slow seasons, especially as an event curator. So whether you're a creative, a founder, or simply just figuring out how to turn your passion into profit, this episode is definitely one for you. So without further ado, let's get into this week's episode of Operations Unfiltered. Thank you so much for joining. I always like meeting with guests that I have a little bit of a history or I've done some research on. And the fun fact is I met you some years ago at a Baltimore Creators Accelerator network. I don't even remember what year, but that's why I love
Right.
living in Baltimore.
1802.
Right. But that's the beauty of living in Baltimore. So welcome to Operations Unfiltered, Mariah. Kelly, thank
Thank
you so much
you.
for joining me.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Of course, of course. Now, speaking of the fact that we met so many years ago at that accelerator journey, what are you doing now? What's up with Mariah? All things business, personal, how are you doing? Give us an update.
Yeah, things are going well. I would say definitely in a different business place than I was at the time that we met, but there are still some similarities. I think back then I was more focused on marketing and promotion for other people's companies, and now I'm doing it for my own business. So it's exciting. It's exciting times.
Yes, definitely a pivot. Definitely a pivot. Now, because we met in that Creators Accelerator network, the vibe was all about community networking and building your resources in that regard. So, can you talk a little bit about the importance of community building, especially as a founder and creator of your own business, Brainiac Beauty Events? Correct? That's the correct name. I don't want to
Yes.
mispronounce it, but yes, talk about that as the founder of that business.
Yeah, so I think the importance of having a community. Well, first, I'm gonna say for me, and I know for a lot of people that I talk to who also founded things and have special projects that they've dedicated a special portion of themselves to. It's important to have community because it can be a lonely journey if you don't, with when you are focused on making sure the thing that you created, whether it's a business, whether it's a work of art, a project, is the best that it can be. You sometimes have to sacrifice other things, that you may want to do, or other times where you may want to be a little bit more frivolous, And so I think that being in community with people who understand you, you don't necessarily have to be a business owner. You can be a creator, you can be somebody who has a special interest, but being in community of people who understand that is very important because one, we're humans, we need connection. Two,
Absolutely.
you can be inspired by somebody else's determination to keep going when it gets hard for you to keep going on your own. And three, because I don't know, it's fun. Like being around
Yeah.
people is fun.
Yes, yes. And honestly, this is so off topic, but on topic. I used to work in person for so many years and building that community, even though it was annoying to commute, but having the flow of ideas readily available or even co-working with people, that's
Yeah.
something that I'm missing in the virtual world. So definitely that. So I love that
Yeah.
analysis. Now, you mentioned your career pivot since the time that we met. Can you talk a little bit about how your journey has evolved and how you've landed at Brainiac Beauty Events?
Yeah, I think when we met, I had just moved back to Baltimore. I'm from Baltimore, but I had lived in the tri-state area up in North Jersey and New York for some years because I went to college there. Then I stayed up there to start my career in public relations. And
Mhm.
then I moved back to Baltimore because I'm like a family person. My niece was just born, la da da da.
Yes.
But so when we met, I was working at an ed tech company and I was in their basically their development department. So it was my responsibility to develop contracts with health systems and all sorts of things like that. And then I eventually moved to their marketing department, which was helping universities like American and Syracuse improve their SEO, their search engine optimization ranking, so that they could attract more student admissions leads for their master's programs. And so before I got back to Baltimore, before all of that happened, like I said, I was in public relations
Mhm.
and I just love like discovering like new fresh ideas or like exciting cool things and then seeing how many people I can help find out about it.
Yeah.
So I had, if I recall properly, I had come to the BCAN event because if something like that was going on, it was like a networking thing or something. And I
Mhm.
think all of us kind of had that same entrepreneurial spirit in a way.
Yep.
Um, and I think that's where we first met. And then,
I
would
think
you
we
say? I think
bonded or
after it's
we
been a lot going on after that.
I know, I
So,
was gonna say, I think we bonded over or commiserated rather over our mutual education experience because I was working in higher education or
okay.
going toward higher education. So yeah, I remember that. Our conversations during that little class.
Yeah. Yeah, and BCAN had a lot of, oh my God, that was like pre-COVID. They had a lot of really, they still do, if I recall, 'cause I still get their emails, but they had a lot of great opportunities for people to connect and gain really good skills before the events market started booming. So,
Yes, yes. I'm gonna have to check in with them, see what they're doing since then. But since then, you've pivoted across a couple of different jobs, both professionally, but in your entrepreneurial endeavors. I would say,
mhm.
what do you feel like are some transferable skills that you've learned in your corporate journey? I put air quotes around corporate. And what do you think that how do you see them transferring over into your Brainiac Beauty Events?
Yeah, so a lot. But I will say I'll take it back first to when I was younger, and then I'll kind of bring it up to date because I think it connects in some way. I
Mhm.
remember when I was like 8 years old, and I told because I was obsessed with doing my sisters. I have a few sisters, and I was obsessed with doing their hair, and I was
Mhm.
like obsessed with makeup and like obsessed with the doll heads that you buy and curl their hair. And
Yeah.
I was like, I want to be a hairdresser. Like I want to go to Randallstown High for cosmetology. And my mom was like, no, like you're going to go to the school I have you going to, and you're going to go to college. And I was so upset
Mm.
because
Isn't that the plight of black girls though, or girls in general? I wanted to do the same thing. I think I wanted to be like a news reporter or something. And my mom was like, girl, no, go get you some
yeah,
money, make some coins. So
it's
right
like
there with
you're
you.
going to college, and
Yes.
so you might as well get the cosmetology program out your head. And so for a long time, I was like upset about that because I'm like, this is what I wanted to do. But
Mhm.
now that I look back, the corporate experience that I have gained was so valuable to
Yeah.
being able to run Brainiac Beauty because in order to, as an artist, you don't want any boundaries. Like you want to be free flowing, like
Yeah.
it's limitless, rules, what are those?
Yes.
So I think,
Yes.
being in corporate and having had a career in public relations and I did marketing most recently, I've been in the fundraising development world doing digital fundraising, galas, sponsored events, individual donors, learned about major donors, grant writing. So all
Oh
of
wow,
those,
all the
yeah.
things. So you are the person to go to if you need help asking for money. That's
If
what
you
I'm
need help,
hearing.
if you want money, I specialize in asking for money.
Love having a person like you on the in the Rolodex. Yes.
Yeah. Because the thing about money is you can't live without it. And it's especially in America, it's just really important. And so I think one of the things that having worked in the for-profit world, then working in the nonprofit world, really, I got a good financial background as far as what money can do for people and what
Yeah.
money can do to help people's lives and how can it improve people's lives and how it works on a foundational level. And I think that was really important when it came to transitioning not only the money skills and understanding of economics, but also the structure that God knows bored me to death in corporate, but the structure that corporate provides was really
Mhm.
important to creating this business because all the while I was in corporate all those years, I was also an artist on the side. And so
Yeah.
when I decided to create Brainiac Beauty Events, I was able to look at it from a bird's eye view and say, okay,
Mhm.
how can we take the makeup artistry and make it something where eventually we can create jobs for makeup artists, where we create these events that serve multiple people at a time, and where we can create these events where yes, people are investing in them because they want to improve their lives. So I think without that corporate experience, I wouldn't have been able to bring as much structure to this business in order
Mhm.
for it to be able to grow as quickly as it's growing.
Oh, I love that. Okay, you sound like you have your hands in quite a few things, and I'm
Hmm.
a marketing project manager, so all day project planning is my thing. I have multiple notes, multiple to-do lists, calendars. So what tools or technology do you use to keep yourself organized? Are you like a tech person or are you a pen and paper type of girl or both?
Oh my gosh, I'm definitely not a tech person. I wish I was, I wish I was. I'm definitely a pen and paper type of girl. I still do the numbers for like each class and expense on a spreadsheet. I'm trying to like transfer to these apps, but that's one of my goals in the near future is to hire somebody to do that because I
Yes.
feel like your forte is your forte and software is not mine.
I know that's
But
right.
yeah, I will say I do use Zero to, help with accounting. And then I literally just use my phone when it comes to managing my own schedule. I use MailChimp when it comes to managing like mass emails to
Mhm.
send out to and attendees and people who signed up for the subscription list. But that's about it. Like a lot of it is pretty manual still, just because we also sell tickets on Eventbrite. So Eventbrite automates a lot of stuff for you. And then I, manage the social media. So right now, a lot of the marketing and stuff is done by very simple tools that automate for you. And I want to leave room for someone who really knows what they're doing to
Mhm.
take it a
Yes.
step
I love
further.
the foresight though that you have, and I love the key piece is that you're not afraid to delegate when it needs to be delegated. Because I know that working with a lot of small business owners, that's something that they struggle with, and even myself, I struggle with. I wanna hold everything close, I wanna do it, can't nobody do it like me, but mental fatigue is real,
He is
overstimulation is
real.
real, so
And I'm like, there's literally thousands, if not millions, of people who can do things better than me.
yes,
So I'm
yes.
like, why not let somebody come and do that, and
No,
get
I
the best
totally get
result
it.
possible?
Yes, no, I totally get it. And I love that approach. And I wonder for you, do you consider yourself a content creator or an influencer or both? Because you do create the content, you're selling tickets, but what do you consider yourself?
I would say that I never thought of myself as either really, but
Hmm.
I will say that if there's anything that I would be proud to influence, I'd like to influence with the things that I create.
Yeah.
So as opposed to seeing myself as an influencer, I don't. I kind of see
Hmm.
myself as I like to create things that influence people to do good things for themselves. So I would say
Ooh.
my creations, I would consider to be an influence versus like myself personally. If somebody does something because I did it, then, I hope that it's because they saw me do something good and
Yeah.
worth emulating. But I would definitely just say I like to influence with the things I create for the world.
Oh, I love that. So, Brainiac Beauty Events, what is your specialty? We talked about it briefly, but for people who are still unsure, unclear what it is that you offer, give us a little background about the services.
Yeah, so I created a type of makeup class called Sip and Pretty Makeup Tutorial Parties. And
Mhm.
so that's what our first service that we offer. And then I recently added on Sip and Pretty skincare clinics. And
Ooh.
we're going to start bringing in estheticians on those because we want ladies to take care of their natural skin. And then also at the Sip and Pretty Makeup Tutorial Parties, you take care of the makeup and you learn artistry. So circling back to the Sip and Pretty Makeup Tutorial Parties, in those, you learn as a beginner, you learn how to do a full face of natural makeup in 60 minutes and step by step. So I break it down into four 15-minute steps. And we focus on foundation, concealer, how to get a contour, eyeshadow, lashes. It's really fun. And it's more
Yeah.
of a seated party versus a serious makeup class
Yeah.
because I just feel like makeup's one of those things where I personally enjoy it. I think some people are really scared of it. And I think it's because for a long time, makeup was sold as something that was like, you know, a negative thing that's supposed to bring positive things to your life. Like it was sold as like,
Mhm.
if you don't like the way your face looks, then you're gonna have to learn how
Yeah.
to do makeup.
They make it seem like such a chore. Like it's
Yeah,
so
right,
hard.
exactly. You're gonna have to learn how to do this on your face. And it's no, like you're supposed to enjoy it. This is art. You don't
Yes.
go to a sip and paint class to draw a sunrise and get upset that you're about to have to do it. So the makeup
Yeah.
tutorial parties, like the atmosphere is one where it's fun, it's lighthearted, we laugh, we joke, and you look pretty at the end. And
Oh,
then
I
the
love that.
skincare, like what more could you ever want to do in a day other
Exactly, the
than have
perfect
something to
night
eat?
out.
Exactly. And then speaking of perfect night out, the locations we usually have them in, like after you leave, you can literally go out to eat. You can go do something afterwards.
Yes, it's like a grab and go experience. I'm a stopping your overall night experience. You're
Yeah,
filling a gap or adding to people's experience. I love
exactly.
that. Oh my
Hmm.
gosh. Now, event planning is such a nerve-wracking field for me. And it's crazy because I'm a project manager and I manage these high budget marketing projects at these big companies. But planning events is something that literally makes my skin crawl. And I'm
Okay.
slowly putting my foot in the water,
Yeah.
but I'm nervous.
Okay.
What is your event planning process? What does that look like? Talk about the collaboration piece because that also scares me. But just talk about what your overall event planning process looks like.
Yeah, so for me, I think because I consider myself an artist before anything else, I
Mhm.
usually try and feel what the customer is going to feel when they come. So I'm terrible at planning on paper first. So like I have to create the experience at home. Like I create before I offered the sip and pretties, I did it at home. I got in the
Yeah.
mirror and I just had tools and I figured out, hey, how can we do this in 60 minutes if somebody's a beginner? So I think everybody's going to have their own natural bend as to how they go about it. But
Mhm.
my personal way of doing it is I create and have the experience first and see what feels good and natural. And then I will write it down in a more structured way on paper after I know it feels good and natural. And I will call usually my sister and freak out over it because I'm like, I don't know if this is going to be good. And she's like, why it doesn't have to be perfect. And I'm like, you're right. So,
This
so
is true. That is honestly, I feel like that's the imposter within us all, that negative self-critic, because
yeah.
honestly, I'm a perfectionist too. I'm like, no. So I get you. We are here.
Yes, and when you do makeup, it's because I was a makeup artist for so many years and still am, and it's just the type of profession where you can't mess. As the artist who getting paid, no one's paying you to mess up. So it's
Yeah, that's
like,
gonna be a problem if you mess
yeah.
up. Yeah.
But someone was like, Mariah, you're not helping these people get ready for their wedding. You're teaching them they're beginners. You're going to have to give them room to be flexible and make mistakes, and you can bring them back on course. And I'm like, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
true. You kind of have to get people who remind you of why you created it in the first place. Because I always just want to deliver people a perfect product.
Mm.
And so I kind of learned how to shift the perfect product from being the result to the perfect product being the experience. And if you can create a very good experience, an excellent experience, then the
Yeah.
result that they achieve is going to be perfect regardless because the experience was well curated. And so when I do events, I usually try and feel it out first, put it on paper, talk to somebody who you trust so that
Mhm.
you can talk out the good ideas because there are bad ideas, like the good
Yeah.
ideas and like the bad ideas. Like when I first started, one of my classes, I was like, oh my God, why don't we have tacos? And that was the worst idea ever. Like,
Oh,
wants to
girl,
eat
not with the
tacos
tacos.
while they're doing their makeup. So it's
Yeah.
like you have to
But I see what you were doing. I understand. People
you
get hungry. I see the vision.
I'm glad you saw the vision. If I had talked to somebody first, they'd be like, Mariah, I don't know. So feeling it out, writing it down, talking to somebody you trust about it to weed out what it could work and couldn't work. And then as far as the collaboration part, I usually just really, to your point earlier about networking, I consider myself a natural. I like being around people. And so before I even knew I was networking, I just always made sure to stay in places with people that I vibed with and got along with. And
Yeah.
so I think when you go about it naturally, it doesn't feel so like, oh my God, I'm impeding on this person. What if they say no? So like when I went to collaborations, I'd be like, who do I know? Oh my gosh, she sells ice cream. People like ice cream and makeup. Like okay,
Yeah.
this friend has a boat. And then sometimes when you think about stuff and you think it's a really good idea, at least it happens for me all the time. Like, I think this would be a really good idea. And I just hold it in myself and I'm like, I think this would be a really good idea. And the person literally reaches out to me without me having to do the work.
Come on, manifestation, that
Yeah,
energy
it's
you
like
put out. Okay, I
it's a
feel
real
it.
thing. You hold the idea and you keep it in a good place in your mind, and within yourself, and you just keep doing what you know you need to do, and then it sometimes it happens without you having to do too much. But as far as like actually reaching out, sometimes when you don't know if the person's going to want to collaborate, I
Mhm.
always try to visit a place or visit somewhere where you actually get to know the person before you do the collaboration, or if you can't do that, to have somebody who vouches for the person or the product, because I was in public relations for so long. I
Mhm.
pitch things all the time, and I know that you can have a good idea and you can vibe with a person on an idea level, but you don't vibe with each other on a creative level or collaborative level, or it's just so many elements to
Exactly.
consider
Yes.
outside of I thought this would be a good idea. So
Right.
like kind of do your investigation sounds intense, but kind of like your scouting when it comes to collabs. And then I literally just reach out. I'm like, hey, I do sip and pretty makeup tutorial parties, and I usually try and make it a benefit for them too, because everybody's busy. Everybody are trying to get their thing off the ground. So,
Yeah.
like right now, with small local cosmetic brands, if I collaborate with them, I either say, hey, you want to sponsor a party and include one of your products in the tutorials, or some people will pay a fee to have their products included in the tutorials. So it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, you reached out to them so that they can collaborate because you want this thing, that your idea, to be greater than what it is, but always
Mhm.
making sure that you're helping their thing be greater than what it is in return so that it's worth their while.
Yeah, just making sure everybody has it's a mutually beneficial experience for
Right.
everyone. And of course, with all the good, there's bad. How do you navigate during slow seasons? I mean, Baltimore has no shortages of events. So how do you cope when there's a lot going on and your stuff isn't selling out? Or have you been blessed in that regard? And I'm sure you have because I've seen the picture. You've been sold out. But just how do you navigate during those times?
Yeah, so I would say in the summertime, since we've been around since January 2024, I think, well, we're a year and some change old. And so
Mhm.
I've definitely noticed, like in the hot months where like you don't even want anything on your face.
Yeah.
It's not as easy unless you're doing like an ice cream social, which I did, that sold out. It's not as easy to get people in for the makeup classes unless you're doing something that is related to them cooling down. So I
Mhm.
think that with when you're trying to make sure that your stuff gets noticed amongst a bunch of noise, like you really just have to understand your audience and like
Yeah.
realize what they need and be aware of the times, like what times are we in, what's the season, like what are some things that are going to attract people beyond your product, because your audience is going to tell you what they want and what they like, and you're going to see some patterns and what they want and what they like, so you can just keep giving them what they want. And
Yeah.
then if it's hot and people don't want to come out, give them something to cool down. So it's like
Mhm.
just making sure it has to make sense, is I guess is the point, that what I'm getting to is like when you want to
Yeah.
stand out above the noise, what you're offering people has to make sense for them to pay attention to you. And usually that's a very simple thing. That's I know for myself, as someone who is creative, I have to always refine my ideas down to something very simple. So to the other artists out there who get a little wacky and elaborate, I get you.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like just making sure it makes sense.
Yeah, you are heavy marketing because I hear that P, the product price, promotion, positioning.
Mhm.
I hear you heavily on that positioning. So I'm like, yes, come on, marketing brain, PR brain. I love
Yeah.
that. Now, you mentioned that you hosted the ice cream social and it sold out, period. I know these next events sold out, and I know you partnered with an apartment complex on a recent makeup event. All these events have such cool elements, but in your mind, what is the most memorable event or the event that you're looking forward to the most?
Well, I would have to say the most memorable one was the first one, because the first one was January 20th, 2024. And it was at Stem and Vine, a plant shop and bar in Baltimore, Maryland. And the night before, it was a blizzard. So
Oh
I had sold
no.
these tickets. And the night before, it was a blizzard. I said, this can't. So I finally did all of this. I did the promotion. Selling tickets for the first time is not easy. So I just didn't know if it would work out. And it did. So Baltimore City got the streets cleared very quickly. And then I had people coming up from like PG County and Virginia,
Yeah.
which still to this day, people come from Virginia, Pennsylvania, New York. A lot of people come to the parties as a destination as well as local people. But so people had
Wow.
come out, and at this point, I just wanted to have a makeup party and have fun with other ladies. It wasn't a business, and I wasn't trying to make it one. And
Yeah.
so it was memorable because it worked, and I didn't know if it would. And maybe 3 days after, the Baltimore Business Journal reached out and they asked to do a feature on upcoming Black owned businesses in Baltimore. And I was like, I don't know why they reached out to me because I just hosted a makeup party. There was no business idea in sight. And then, so when the reporter, and I also thought it was a prank, and my sister was like, you overthink everything. Call, like, text that, email that lady back. And so, because
We're
I
gonna have
just,
to unpack this. We're gonna have to have a powwow because my imposter syndrome with yours, listen.
yeah, it's a lot of girl, please. Things are working out. You have to believe that they are. So the reporter called and we did the interview and she asked for the pictures and the way that she wrote about the event helped me to see how it was actually a business and how all the experience I had in the past as a makeup artist and in corporate had somehow come together and created this really good product. And
Yeah.
so I would say that was the most memorable because it affirmed that this was something that I could keep doing and actually turn into a business.
Well, you have turned it. You have turned it into a
Yes.
business and you are thriving. So you mentioned partnerships, opportunities that you have. What is your dream partnership or dream collab, if you have one, whether that be with a dream content creator or even a makeup brand?
Yeah, so I feel like maybe a month ago I would have answered this question a bit differently because
Mhm.
I had my sights set on something different. But I have a new belief that I prefer to grow with people who are in the same position that I'm in and
Mhm.
who are also creating really great things that maybe don't have the funding to make it as big as it could as quickly as you could do it. So
Yeah.
my dream collaborations are really with local business owners, women business owners, people of color business owners in the cosmetic field, in the wine field, who are really grinding and really doing their best to put good things out in the world because I feel like Brainiac Beauty, our Sip and Pretty makeup tutorial parties are a place where commerce happens. So I would say my dream partnerships are is just with people who are doing really great things and we can do really great things together because I think there's so much magic in doing things with other innovative people who are at the same point that you're at. And I think that whoever became an Ulta or a Sephora or any sort of brand that a lot of us see in high regard started off at a small place and that magic grew over time. So I'm excited to see the magic that I can create and grow with people who are in the same spot as me right now.
Love the collaborative energy because it propels us forward, honestly. That's the
Yeah,
only way that we'll ever be able to build back our block, like they always say, is by
right.
collaborating and investing in one another. So I love that you're doing that. And I'm happy to support in whatever way I can. I have my PR
Oh,
brain
thank
back
you.
on. Whatever I
Yes.
can do to support. And forward thinking, foresight, forest through the trees, where do you see Brainiac Beauty Events in the next 3 to 5 years? And
Yeah.
do you envision expanding beyond Baltimore?
Yeah, I definitely do. In the next 3 to 5 years, we'll definitely have a fleet of makeup artists because the reason that I'm so passionate about refining the parties is that I want it to be something that other makeup artists can use and can make money off of. The brand is to make more job options for artists and for makeup artists because one, a lot of people still don't take artistry seriously as a real job. The general public is like you because I've been a fundraiser and I've been an
Yes.
SEO marketer. And when you say you're a fundraiser, you get a very different response than when you say you're an artist. And
Yes.
so the one of the missions of the company is to change the perception of what artists can be and what artists can have because artistry keeps people alive. Artists bring really good things to the world. And
Yeah.
so I want to create this where other artists can license the brand and I can teach them how to host the parties, and it's another source of income for artists outside of having to market their hands-on application. People,
Yeah.
it's like a tough position you get put in when you're a makeup artist because if you want to have kids, if you want to have a family, you just can't focus on that promotion like that you used to focus
Yeah.
on. It's very much an entrepreneurial job. And then you have to go to the client. And then if you're doing a wedding, you could be with the client for 5 hours. Where's
Yeah.
your
It's not,
children?
you can't stay, that's not sustainable
That's
long
not
term.
sustainable.
Yes.
So the goal of Brainiac Beauty, of course, we're serving everyday women to help empower them to be creators of their own reality and improving their makeup artistry skills. And in tandem with that, we're empowering artists to give artists job options because let's say you are a makeup artist, you just had a kid, or you started a full-time job because whatever your case is, you can license Brainiac Beauty and we can teach you how to host these tutorial parties that we've already refined them. And you can host a couple of classes on a weekday or once a month or twice a
Yeah.
month, however you want to do it. And you can have income. And so I think that's really important. But also in that, you're not restricted to a desk because I'm like,
Mm.
that's the thing is yes, I myself was able to bear my, grind my teeth and go through corporate for the amount of time that I did because I do think there's a lot of benefit in corporate. I don't,
Yeah.
I'm not a corporate basher at all, but it's like when you're a makeup artist or a nail artist, so somebody who's just very in that aura,
Mm-hmm.
some people that you can't like you
Yeah.
literally can't, you cannot be sitting at a desk. And so you need options where you can have structure and you can make money, but you also can be yourself. And that's the thing that I really want to create by refining and then licensing these parties, is creating spaces for artists to be themselves and to make money.
It's giving Candy. You know Candy from Real Housewives, how she started the whole bedroom Candy model and just she helped empower women to be their own bosses. That's the vibe you're giving. So I love
Okay.
this. I love this. Oh,
I
I have
know
to.
Candy, but I didn't know about the bedroom Candy. I gotta look it up.
Yes, that whole model of like the Avon model. I always tell people they need to think of themselves as project managers and entrepreneurs, but having something like this really would empower them to do that because truly it's your choice whether or not you want to make the money or not.
Exactly. It's your choice
Yes.
whether or not you want to make the money, but then you're also not having to take on the whole risk of an entrepreneurial
Yes.
venture because that's a lot of, I mean, it's a lot of work and it's exhausting and it really takes something out of you that sometimes you just don't have the room for. I mean, right now I don't have children, so I have the room to give of myself in a way that ladies who are populating our earth and creating the next generation of people have given up themselves in a big way because they're mothers. And I'm just like, they shouldn't have to give up their dream of working for themselves and being artists because they also wanted to live out a dream of being a mother and, live out a dream of
Yes.
something else. So, like you're saying, I just want to make being an entrepreneur something that is doable, even if you don't want to be a high risk person.
Yes, I appreciate you so much because at Live Agency, I started it for that very reason. I want to make sure that people have the right people, processes, and tools. So that is the exact reason why I want just because you had a kid or you took some time off from school or you changed your
Yeah.
major and now you don't do anything that has to do with it doesn't mean that you can't pour into yourself and be an
Right.
entrepreneur. Let me help you, you know? I love
Exactly,
that.
right. Exactly. You're there to help people. It's like your dream's not over. Like
Yes,
I
it's
can come
just
in and help
begun.
you. Yes.
Yes, but you mentioned that you're a makeup artist, you still are. If you could give your younger self who had all these dreams and aspirations, who was doing makeup, wanted to do hair, if you could give her one piece of advice, what would it be and why?
Yeah, I would just say explore. Keep going and trust yourself to figure it out. My sister makes fun of me where I get addicted to self-help books
Mm,
because I think
that's a good thing to be addicted to. Look,
yes.
you could be like me and be addicted to Pringles. Like that's bad.
I am also addicted to Pringles and a lot of things that I should not be addicted to, like cheese stick subs. But I would
Also a good
say,
addiction. We're gonna have
trust
to talk.
trust yourself to figure it out because you were born with the answers already. And it's because we go through school and like school's a good thing. Please learn to read and write, but because we go through these
Yes.
these systems and we have life and we have these things that get in the way and we live in America and making money is important. We have these self-help books telling us how to be productive and how to get to this and how to get to that. But when do you trust your own voice? And it's
Ooh.
like if you don't give yourself time to trust your own voice, you'll be frustrated for a long time because you're trying to tell yourself something, but you don't give
Yes.
yourself room to hear it. And so I would say give yourself more space to get quiet and to hear yourself and,
Don't yell at me. Okay, you yelling at me. All right, I'm gonna
to
do it.
reflect. It's okay. I paid my therapist a lot to yell at me, so it's so,
Yeah.
so I guess the result is other people catching it, but it's not easy to do. So,
Especially
but
quieting the noise. That's why I'm really big on creating a village of like-minded individuals, people who you want to emulate. And they don't have to be
yeah,
millionaires. It's just people that are living in their truth. I'm being intentional about surrounding myself with that so that by way of surrounding myself with that, I can then will that
yeah.
out of myself. So yeah,
Right. And it's like
totally
if
get it.
we get that when we're 8, when we're 5, when we're 10, it won't be
Yeah.
as difficult to do it when we're older. So if I could
Mhm.
tell my younger self something, it would be that. And it's just if you can hold on to that from a young age, you can, I'm not going to say you're not going to make mistakes because life is full of mistakes and that's how you learn and grow. But the frustration might be a little bit less because you're just like, oh, wait, I'm going to figure it out. So,
Yes, it is gonna be all right. Yes, yes. Okay, I want to get into a little bit of current event slash makeup trends because you are the makeup expert here. You're the subject matter expert.
mhm.
I'm a newbie. I
Yeah.
used to like makeup a lot, took a break, had a baby, but now I'm back in the game. For all the girls who are trying to get back into the game, makeup game, what are your top two essentials that we must have in our makeup kit?
Oh my goodness. So this kind of saddens me because the company is not doing too well. I hope they end up doing better. Win Beauty, Serena Williams brand,
Yes.
has a fantastic, and I mean fantastic hydrating skin tint. I have it on right now, and it's like literally, you
You
literally
do.
just
You look very sun kissed. I might have to release the video for every because you do look nice. I'm not even.
Thank you. But it is the formula is just so good because it literally just melts onto your skin.
Mm,
And people don't know if you have on foundation or not. That's the
yes.
thing. And then it's a little bit buildable too if you put powders with it. So that's the hydrating skin tint. And then I would say Adriana Nicole Cosmetics. So I think she's out of Richmond, Virginia. She's an indie brand. And she just makes the most beautiful eyeshadow palettes you have ever
Oh my
seen
goodness. I'm
in
gonna
your
have to buy
entire
some.
life. Adriana Nicole Cosmetics, and she has this one shade called Ethereal. You like swipe your finger, you swipe it on your eye, and like the whole makeup look is done. That's it.
Oh, oh
Like,
yes. Okay, those are
please
top
do.
two. What is one makeup trend that you want to get rid of like today? Not now, but right now.
The makeup trend I want to get rid of. Let me see. It's tough because it just depends on because somebody can do something and they just pull it off so well. And like somebody else
Touche.
can do something. I'm like, that wasn't for you. If I could get rid of one, oh, that's tough. I will say just be careful when it comes to I think it's called Makeup by Esther or Bake by Esther. It's like a makeup trend. If you watch Love Island, Olandria,
Yeah.
one of her makeup artists, they do the heavy pink blush that literally covers this whole top part of your cheeks.
Oh yeah.
And I think it can be a beautiful look when executed well, when you take your time, when you really understand what's happening. But like it's not something that everybody should emulate because it can go really wrong. And the reason I say this is because blush already has a hard time. Like blush
Yes.
already gets a lot of hate. I love blush, but blush already gets a lot of hate because it's a heavy pigment. People get a little scared of seeing something red or pink on their face. So I'm like,
Absolutely.
sometimes with these trends, when something is viral online, it puts in people's head that this is how it has to be if you want to do it too. And
Mm.
that's the thing about makeup, and that's the thing about our parties is that we teach you to trust yourself to find your own style. So I'll say
Ooh.
the heavy blush, it makes me have to do extra work to let ladies know that this doesn't have to be you.
This does
So
not have to be your experience, is
it
what
just
you're
doesn't,
saying.
you have options. So that is like the thing where I wouldn't say I get rid of it, but like I would put like a caution sign.
I noted. We'll accept that. Okay, okay. Well, how can people keep up with all things Brainiac Beauty Events? How can we follow you, buy tickets? Give us all the details.
Yeah, so our handles are at Brainiac Beauty Events on Instagram. On TikTok, it's just at Brainiac Beauty. You can find us at brainiacbeauty.com. And our name really is because we believe women have the right to be smart and beautiful at the same time. And your intelligence is unique to you, just as your beauty is unique to you. And so you can find us on brainiacbeauty.com, at Brainiac Beauty Events on social media. You can always go on our website where we announce new events almost weekly.
I love it. You have a lot going on. Thank you so much for taking time out of your hectic schedule to talk to little old me and my listeners. We really appreciate it. Thank
Oh,
you.
thank you for inviting me. I love what you're doing. And as somebody who's been in marketing and PR too, I know how important it is and how it's not easy. And so the fact that you're able to do this for people and move their vision and their business ahead in a way that so many people just wouldn't be able to do on their own because it's specialized work. And it's one thing to want to do it, it's another thing to do it well, and you do it well. So thank you for what you do as well, especially in this local area where it's not easy to find services like that.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. And thank you for being part of my Rolodex of resources. I will definitely be using you.
Yes,
Thank
please do.
you.